So before I get into this, I just wanna make it clear. But I'm sure I made it clear beforehand. But like, I did really enjoy this movie. I really liked it. I think it's great. It's probably one of the better Batman movies. I don't know where I would rank it. Um, I think it is just as good as The Dark Knight. I'm gonna say that up front. I do think this movie is just as good as The Dark Knight. Um, and just as good as Batman. Well, Batman Begins, I might like a little bit more, just a little bit more because I just like to see the development of Bruce Wayne from a child to training as a ninja to becoming Batman. I thought that was, I thought it had a good balance of how what I would want to see in Batman. So I probably like that a little bit more. But I think I do think it's just as good as The Dark Knight and Batman '89. I think it's better than Batman Returns, Batman Forever, Batman and Robin. Dark Knight Rises definitely. I might like it just as much as Mask of the Phantasm. We'll see. But that's pretty much how I would rank it. I haven't really done a ranking of all the Batman movies. Maybe I'll do that one day. I don't know. If you guys want to see my ranking of the Batman movies, you want me to rank all of them, let me know. Maybe I'll do a video stream or something on that. But yeah, I do think it's one of the better Batman movies. So let me just put that out there before I start getting into some of my grievances with behind the scenes and stuff like that. So, okay. Do I think Robert Pattinson is the best Batman? No, I don't. I don't. Um, he's not my favorite either. I do think he's a really good Batman. I do think he's good. Really good. And he fits well with the world that Matt Reeves is establishing. I just feel like there's certain things story-wise where I can't say that he's the definitive Batman yet. They're building things up to where in the sequels, maybe he'll slowly start becoming the definitive Batman we all want. But right now, I'm just not seeing it because he's so he's such in the beginning stages. Like I can't really judge it there. I mean, people could say like this is the perfect way to make Batman in his beginning stages. So that's probably why people would immediately say he is a definitive Batman. But for me, like I just have the jury's still out there when we get sequels. So you got to wait and see for that. So that's why I can't say he's my favorite Batman. To me, Ben Affleck is still my favorite because first of all we get Batman in his prime, well, mostly in his prime. Like he's more of a weary Batman in his 40s or whatever, but like he's more of like the a Batman that I want to see that encapsulates everything that I want to see. That he does have that whole thing of like he feels like more Batman and Bruce Wayne and stuff like that. But like as far aesthetically, how he looks, how he acts, his suit, his gadgets, the right balance of grounded and like comic book whimsical stuff. I felt like he was the perfect balance of everything, and like he reminded me the most of Batman I would read from the comics and stuff from the animated series. To me, Ben Affleck is the closest we've gotten to a comic, aesthetically comic accurate Batman, in my opinion. I know people have problems with him killing and him being too old or whatever. That stuff didn't bother me because you guys know, as I said earlier, I didn't care about his no killing wall. Ben Affleck to me is still my favorite Batman. And honestly, I still feel like I like Michael Keaton a little bit more. He's my second favorite Batman. Christian Bale, I think he's just as good as Christian Bale. And there are certain aspects of Robert Pattinson I think he does better than Christian Bale. But I think he's just on that level for me. But I can't say he's my favorite. Ben Affleck is still my favorite. And there's the problem. Like, I do really like this movie. I do. But I don't think it's perfect. I don't. I don't think it's a masterpiece. I don't think it's gonna change cinema. I mean, it may. I mean, it's too early to tell. But like from what I'm seeing, I'm not. I'm to me, I don't see anything here where it's like I'm blown away. Like it's gonna change how I feel about Batman going forward. I don't see that. There are things in this movie that I appreciate that Matt Reeves is doing something different as far as, certain details and plot points. Like, I definitely appreciate that, especially, like the detective stuff. I'm glad that he made that more apparent. But like, the problem is that for me, I'm starting to feel Batman fatigue. It's starting to hit me now. I know that's a term that a lot of people want to throw around, that, oh, I'm feeling Batman fatigue. Oh, there's so much Batman stuff. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Why am I complaining about this? I've heard that criticism before. Why are you complaining about too much Batman? There's no such thing as too much Batman. Batman's awesome. You know, I I hear from other people, I will watch anything Batman is. I don't care how many Batman shows or how many Batman movies are out there. I don't care how much. I will take all the Batman I can get because I love Batman that much. I'm not the guy. I'm not. I love Batman. He is one of my favorite superheroes, but I'm not just a Batman fan. I'm I'm a DC guy. I love the DC characters. I love the DC world. I don't just I'm not obsessed with Batman and his world as much as everyone else is. That's the bottom line. Um I'm not so obsessed with Batman where I want to see Batman movies and shows every month. Like, there's something new coming every month. I really wish, they would take this time to all this effort, all this shows and movies that we're getting from Batman. I wish they put in more effort of doing that with other DC characters. I've been feeling this for a long time. I've been saying this at nauseum on my channel and other people's streams. Like, as much as I love Superman, Superman is my favorite comic book character. I got tired of them doing Batman and Superman movies constantly. And I was happy that, around 2016, they were like, hey, we're going to embrace this larger DC universe. We're going to make movies for other DC characters, Wonder Woman, Flash, Aquaman, all that other stuff, Suicide Squad. Like, I really am happy that now we live in a world where all these DC characters, these obscure DC characters, are getting movies now. I'm so happy we're finally getting that. I'm so happy there's a Shazam movie. Excuse me. There's a Shazam movie. There's a Black Adam movie. There's a Flash movie coming out. There's an Aquaman movie that made $1 billion. Wonder Woman came out, and it's the most successful female comic book movie of all time. I mean, yeah, Wonder Woman 84 was disappointing, but still, you can't take away what the history that Wonder Woman made when it came out. And just all this other stuff. Like, I love the DC world. I love DC characters. I grew up watching stuff like Justice League Unlimited, Batman Beyond, Static Shock, Superman the Animated Series, Green Lantern. This is stuff I grew up on. I grew up embracing all the DC characters, not just Batman. So I'm looking at, all this Batman properties that we're getting, and I feel like it's too much. We got over 7 actors who play Batman within 30 years. Like, and I can't be the only one who thinks that's nuts. I've talked about all the Batmans on my previous streams. I went through every single one. And to me, I'm just personally, I still feel like it's crazy that we got so many versions of Batman in such a short period of time. It's nuts. And now we have another new Batman with Robert Pattinson, and we barely got enough time with Ben Affleck. We just got Ben Affleck like literally 4 or 5 years ago. And it's just I'm feeling whiplash. I really am. Like, because as I said, I loved Ben Affleck as Batman, and I wanted to see more from his character, whether it be another Justice League movie or the Ben Affleck standalone film that he was supposed to direct. I want to see more from him. I mean, we're going to get more from him in the Flash, but that may be the last time we see him. And I don't know. I just really feel bummed out about that because we barely got to see him really embrace the role as Batman. And I feel like if they gave him more of a chance, I think he would have ended up being a Batman that universally a lot of people would love. I think people would be on board with him just as much as a Christian Bale or a Michael Keaton and stuff like that. But I don't feel like he's given enough of a chance. And now we're just supposed to embrace this new Batman. And then on top of that, they're replacing Ben Affleck's Batman with Michael Keaton's. Michael Keaton is coming back to be possibly the main Batman of that DCEU, and it doesn't feel right to me. It doesn't. Hold on, let me look at these comments real quick. John Bart says, "I'm excited for Black Adam because so many characters are being shown on film for the first time." I agree. I agree. Black Adam having his own movie with The Rock playing him, I thought that would never happen. And you're getting Hawkman and Dr. Fate and like the Justice Society. I never thought I would see that in a movie. Like that's my most anticipated DC film. Yeah, this was higher than the Batman for me. It was because like I've been waiting I've been waiting to see a Justice Society in a live action movie. I mean, it's not a Justice Society movie full fledged, but they're going to be in the film. They're going to be in a Black Adam movie, and that's fleshing out the Shazam world as well, which I really like Shazam as well, and I'm excited for Fear of the Gods when it comes out next year. But it's like it's new things, it's new characters that we haven't gotten in a film. Batman, we've we've gotten so many Batman movies. Like I want to see something new. And then continuing on with John Bart's comments, but I still want another Superman film. 2017 was the last time he's been in the movie. Hopefully, Cavill comes back. I agree with that as well. Like, that's another thing that frustrates me as a Superman fan that they are so quick to make another Batman movie, but then when it comes to Superman, they don't do anything. Like they're taking their sweet ass time to develop a Superman movie, if they are at all. And it's not even a Superman movie that we necessarily are want, or like this is not the direction that we necessarily want because of the whole thing with JJ Abrams making a black Clark Kent Superman movie. I don't want that at all. I want Henry Cavill because Henry Cavill wants to play Superman again. You know? Like, so why won't you let him play it again? And he's becoming a bigger actor. So I'm sure like the movie going audience will be more excited to see him in the role since he's established himself more as an actor from Mission Impossible to The Witcher to all this other stuff. He's becoming a really, becoming popular, more popular. So it's like I don't understand why you wouldn't capitalize on that. And then even if you didn't want to do that and you want to go in a new direction like Robert Pattinson, like this is not the direction that we want with JJ Abrams thing. Like I don't even know if that's still going to happen. Now, I am looking forward to Michael B. Jordan's Superman movie where they're going to do Val-Zod, like cuz that's something different and that's actually Superman from the comics. They're not trying to like race swap Clark Kent, which I don't want that at all. And this comes from a black man myself. I don't want that for Superman. Like if you're going to do a black Superman, use someone from the comics that's already established as a different version, a different character, you know? But like they're taking their sweet time making a Superman movie, but they're so quick to make a Batman film. And Superman is one of your biggest DC characters. Like there an argument can be made that, Batman may be a little bit more popular than Superman. That's fine, but he's still one of your flagship characters in DC, and you don't give him the attention that you're giving the Batman. It's just really it's annoying to me. It's annoying. It's not just because I'm a Superman fan, but as a DC guy, I don't see why DC fans are annoyed that these other DC characters aren't getting the attention and the detail and the just the creativity that they're doing for that Matt Reeves is doing with this Batman movie. Why aren't they doing that with the DCEU? That's my main problem with this Batman movie, why I can't fully appreciate it. It's a really well made film. I really enjoy it. Matt Reeves did a really good job. Robert Pattinson did a good job. The actors did a good job. It's well directed. It's well shot. The story's well done. But it's hard for me to fully appreciate this Batman movie because it feels like we're doing the same thing over and over and over again. We're going back to Batman's origin again, or the beginnings of Batman again. And we've seen that numerous times. And I wouldn't even complain that much about them doing so many Batman stuff if they do things that are significantly different. Like, yes, they did the detective stuff, which I appreciate. They did the detective stuff and they made the villains more accurate. But as far as the darkness and like the moodiness and the gothicness, I really don't feel it's that different. I don't. Like even with Robert Pattinson being more moody than than other Batman stuff like that, I can't help but feel like I've seen this before with Robert Pattinson. I mean, with Ben Affleck's Batman in the DCEU. Now it's not as extreme as Robert Pattinson, but still that dark, moody, grounded stuff. We've seen this before, you know. So it's like, and it's like as I said many times before. I can't believe it's been over 20 years and they still haven't done the Bat Family in a live action movie. I'm not counting the Titan show, because that's not the same. And I haven't seen the Titan show and I keep hearing mixed things about it. But like it baffles me that we still haven't gotten the Bat Family in a live action movie. And with Ben Affleck's Batman, I feel like that was a step in the direction of us getting that. Maybe even though Batman is like in his like later years as Batman, he's in late 40s. They still established that a Bat family exists in that universe. And it's like we're getting the Batgirl movie, which I'm interested to see what they'll do with that. But it's weird that it's not Ben Affleck's Batgirl, it's Michael Keaton's. It's a weird amalgamation of Michael Keaton's Batgirl mixed with DCEU Batgirl, even though it was Ben Affleck's universe first. It's just weird how they're doing that. So it's like if they're going to do Batman movies, I wish we would just get Robin and Batgirl and Nightwing and Red Hood. Like, why haven't they tried doing that again? And it's like they can't give me the argument that like the movie going audience wouldn't like that because that's not true. Like people at least know who Robin and Batgirl is, and even Nightwing, man. Like I, I keep hearing all around how much people love the Bat family, from media, whether it's TV shows, video games, stuff like that. You can make so much money with them embracing the Bat family, but they have yet to do that. They keep going back to the drawing board, and it just frustrates me. That's why I feel Batman fatigue. On top of them doing so many versions in such a period of time, I don't understand why, if they're going to keep doing Batman movies, they keep doing the beginnings of Batman over and over again. They can't keep, they keep they why can't they do Robin? Why can't they do Nightwing? Why can't they do Batgirl? Why can't they do Red Hood? Why do we keep doing the same villains all over again? You have so many villains that they could use. Like it doesn't feel as fresh as I want it to be, personally. That's just my opinion. Um as Russ says, also Batgirl will be the first time, to my knowledge, where Batman is older than Commissioner Gordon. Kind of weird. Yeah, isn't that weird? Like, are they really that dependent on nostalgia? Will they have to bring back Michael Keaton to be the main Batman of the DCU, even though it doesn't make any sense? You're gonna have the other main heroes be like in their prime, like in their 20s to 40s, but then you're gonna have Batman in his 70s. Like, it just doesn't mix well. And then if they're gonna use Michael Keaton, the thing that will make the most sense is them making a Batman Beyond movie with him being the older Bruce Wayne. I heard a lot of people wanting that. Him being the older Bruce Wayne to a Terry McGinnis Batman Beyond. Lily is right there. Why don't you do that instead of just plucking him from a different universe and making him the main Batman of a DCEU where we want Batman in his prime fighting along the Justice League in their prime? So it just doesn't make any sense to me. The way that WB is going about the DCU is just feels all over the place. It could be different a couple years from now when we see the movies, when we see the Flash, when we see Batgirl, when we see where their roadmap, if they have one. If we see it later down the line, it makes more sense in a couple years. I'll take back my statement. But right now, how I'm seeing them structuring the DCEU, it doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't feel coherent to me. And it just baffles my mind that, all this creative effort from Matt Reeves for this Batman movie can't be used for the Batman in the DCEU. Like, I really wish this effort could have been put in to Ben Affleck's Batman. This whole the world building, the villains, the TV shows, all this stuff that Matt Reeves is developing with Robert Pattinson. I really wish this effort could have been put in with Ben Affleck's Batman. And even though I'm glad that Matt Reeves was able to do whatever he wanted creatively, because I do believe directors should have their vision for the most part. I still feel kind of upset that he didn't want to play ball with DCEU and he wanted to do his own thing. He didn't want to help, improve the DCU's quality. He just, I just it just frustrates me. It just does. I'm sorry. I can't help but think about this stuff in the back of my mind, you know? And I'm not saying that, you know, DC should just focus on the cinematic universe and nothing else. You can have Elseworld stories. You can let directors have their own takes on characters that doesn't have to tie into the main universe. But my problem is that this main universe, the cinematic universe, is not fully established. So I would feel more comfortable with them doing spin-offs or Elseworld stuff if their main universe was taken care of, you know, because it feels like their priorities are split. And with the main movie going audience is going to be confused. I mean, I'm sure us that's like following how movies are made and how cinematic universes are done, and us reading the comics, our own little bubble, we know what's going on. But when it comes to the main movie going audience, the casuals, they don't, and you're just going to cause more confusion because I'm sure there's at least 10% of the movie going audience is thinking that this Robert Pattinson is tied in with the DCEU. You know, so, and they're not doing a good job like establishing what is what is the main universe, what is the Elseworld stuff, what ties into what. WB's not doing a good job presenting that. So I just see a lot of problems with how they're structuring the DC overall. It's hard for me to fully enjoy this. I'm I'm sorry. I know I feel entitled. I know I'm feeling like, I'm whining for no reason and I should just enjoy it for how it is. But like, I'm sorry, like, for me being the DC fan that I am, and I want DC to succeed, I just don't want them to put all of their effort into just making Batman because that's the safe route. That's the surefire moneymaker Batman. I want them to take risks because you see other franchises, like, I hate to bring this up, but Marvel, they took risks with other characters that people didn't know about. They actually took their time to develop the characters in their world, so we're invested in them. Like, I see, like, nobody cared about Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, Guardians, all this stuff before the movies came out. And it's like they took their time with that world and they made us care about characters that nobody knew about. So it's like if they can do that with this with Marvel, I don't see why they can't do that with DC. And I'm not saying they have to copy the same structure as Marvel. That's not what I'm saying. That's the one thing I appreciate about WB is that they're not shackled with having to appeal to families because they're owned by Disney. They're able to do stuff that's PG-13 or rated R. They can have different tones. Some could be comedic, some could be dark, some could be more the 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 traditional superhero stuff. Some could be different genres. WB is able to play with that more, and that's what I want with a cinematic universe. I don't want everything to feel the same. But that being said, as far as the creative effort and the consistency and the coherent stuff from Marvel, that's what I want for DC. And while I'm excited to see more from this universe with Matt Reeves, like, I just, I'm more invested in what they're going to do with Batman and DCEU. And even if Ben Affleck didn't want to come back to be Batman, I think it would have saved them a lot of headache if they just recasted that Batman. Have someone else come in and fill in the shoes that Ben Affleck was doing. You didn't have to go and get Michael Keaton back. Even though I know fans of Michael Keaton that grew up with him probably loving this right now, but like, you didn't need to do that. Like, there's just so many ways that they can just make this DC franchise better and they're not going about it the best way. So that's my whole argument about it. Um, I feel like one day I'm gonna do like either a video or series or a podcast talking about how I would structure the DCEU, because I've been thinking about that for a while, of how I would do a roadmap to how I would run the cinematic universe and Elseworld stuff. Like I have my own idea of how I would do it. You know, I did want to put that out there for people that are, they're curious about how I would think about, how I would run the DC universe. I probably will do that, some, in the near future. I want to do that video one day.